Hi, Rebecca and masterclass participants. I'm so appreciative that I get a chance to share with you the story behind the book, The Power of Systems. The book really came from studying Steve Chandler and all of his work. And so I am a big fan of Steve, as is Rebecca, and all of his work. And I had been studying it for 7 years, the whole time I had been a coach, listening to all his audios, reading all of his books. And one of the things I like to do is take in a lot of information and then try to distill it down. And I had been noticing the themes in a lot of Steve's work. And one of those is getting away from I, me, mine and making it about me and myself, and seeing that there's no fixed personality and that things are always open to change. And as I was exploring, I also fell in love with Steve's love of distinctions and talking about victim versus owner, or agreements versus expectations, simplifying it down into a simple choice, like in Crazy Good, a book of choices. And one day, as I'd been experimenting with my clients, I just came across this distinction that I called at the time systems, not psychology, and noticed that when I shifted my language and my clients' language away from anything to do with psychology and confidence or self-esteem or anything in that whole domain, and instead we put our focus and our language on systems in the world of systems, that possibilities started to appear where a client previously was stuck trying to change their own psychology, or often the psychology of their partner or an employee or somebody else. And when instead we started to look at, well, what's the existing system that is creating this behavior? They saw all these possibilities for changes. And so one day I was excited and I shared with Steve, I said, I think this distinction that's behind all of the work that you've done is called systems, not psychology. And he was excited about it and said, you should write a book, which I was pleased that he said that, but I wasn't up to that task, I didn't think, on my own. And after a few weeks, when I hadn't started making any progress, Steve said, could I write the book with you? Which obviously that's like someone who's beginning to be a songwriter, and Elvis Presley or Taylor Swift. I should update my references. Taylor Swift says, would you like to write a song together? So I was definitely in. And Steve and I had a lot of fun and actually created a system for writing the book. And it came from both of us just applying this distinction in our coaching and really seeing that when we shifted our language and our clients' language away from anything to do with psychology or mind or the self and into the system, that they got back into the flow, back into the game, started being able to make shifts and changes. And as I, in my excitement, went through all of Steve's work and all of his distinctions, I could map them to the distinctions systems, not psychology, which is kind of where it started, and then morphed into the book, The Power of Systems, where it's really Steve and I sharing the stories that we collected and the impact we had seen as we started sharing it with clients. So super excited that you guys are exploring it in the masterclass, and then in the course, diving in deeper into the power of systems. You have an amazing guide in Rebecca, who is also a student of Steve's work and can draw in on all of the things in his books like Time Warrior, Wealth Warrior, Reinventing Yourself. This theme kind of runs throughout, and even some of the language in Crazy Good. There's a section on systems, not dreams. And so I even borrowed the languaging from Steve, because he's like me, really loves to focus on and shift and play with the language. And that's what is really the power of systems, is a shift, what I call a language game, away from the language game of psychology into the language game of systems, and has a really powerful impact. So I'm excited for you guys to explore, and look forward to hearing what gets created. Love you.